Hello everybody, it's Michelle, and I've got a really fun shaker ornament for your Christmas tree this year. And I had so much fun with these. We're just using cardstock, but we're going to end up with a very sturdy shaker ornament when it's all done. So I'm using these ornament dies. These are the 3 I have. The 2 examples I'm going to be showing you today are both done with this one here. And all of these have the same outer piece. It's just the ornament with the hanger and loop at the top, and then it's got an inner piece that cuts out a design. So you can put these together. You can cut out just that on its own, and I'll show you what you get when you do that. You get the solid piece like that right there, and then you put your centerpiece in. And these other 2 do it the same as well. The centers are separate pieces. And you can turn that any way you want and turn your design. And I like this one here. It's sort of what I call a Christmas sweater design. It looks like stripes of patterns. And you can do it right like that. But I like to turn it and do it on a diagonal. So you can do that any way you want because you've really got 2 pieces. And what I did with them was turn them over, get my other piece centered up. Well, let me show you with this one. Both of my examples used that one today. So I'll set these others aside and I'll show you guys with this one what I did. So I put them cutting edge down, and then I decided, you know, which direction I wanted that to spin and get it oriented the way I wanted, and then just kind of shifted around until I had what seemed like even spacing all the way around. And then when I got it the way I wanted it, I held it in place and put some tape in about 3 places. And that shifted on me, but you guys get the idea. Make sure yours doesn't shift. Get it where you want it. And then I took my bone folder and I really pressed that down and burnished that tape down onto there because I want these 2 to stay together in position as one unit while I do a lot of cuts with it. So I can just put that on there, stick the edges here to my cardstock so it stays in place, run that through, and then I can take that off and they're still together, and I can do that with the same positioning for several ornaments. So I did that with some red glitter cardstock, and this was actually not cardstock, this was a foam and it had the adhesive back. So this is a backer that we're just going to peel off, and that's going to make that really easy. So I did that with my red adhesive back foam. I also did it with a silver glitter, and that's not sticky back foam, it's just silver glitter cardstock. So we'll have to add some adhesive to the back of that. And then I did that with 12 more with a thick 140-pound watercolor paper. So that's 6 for each ornament. But we're going to use those to layer together to make our frame and the area for our shaker bits inside. So I'll show you what I did with that. Some of those pieces came out and some of them and some didn't. But it's okay because I'm just going to take it all out and even cut where the edges connect on this little design here that you see. So I'm just going to take my scissors in there and cut that. Cut the next one. And see how that's given us our frame. Here are 5 more. That's 6 that we're going to layer together. And here are my 6 that I already layered together ahead of time as an example for you guys. In the solid ones without the intricate inside, I cut 2 solid pieces, so 1 for each, in the 140-pound cardstock. And then I also cut 1 for each in a white glitter cardstock. And those, again, we're just going to layer them together just for thickness. And if you have a super heavy duty white glitter cardstock, just go ahead and use that and you won't have to double layer. You can use whatever is your favorite liquid glue. You can use the adhesive runner if you want to, but I like the liquid glue because it gives me a little bit of time to move it around and make sure that they're all lined up just exactly the way I want them on top of each other before it sets. So see, I can move that around a little bit with that liquid glue. And my edges here aren't perfect. Wherever we made those cuts, you can bring in some sandpaper or an emery board or even your sand eraser and clean up that edge if you want to. But I really don't think it's going to show. So I think it's going to be okay. Just when you're trimming that out, just do it as neatly as you can and it should be good enough. Okay, so that's all 6 layers of our die cut frames glued together. Just wipe away any of that excess glue that squeezes out. If you really wanted to, if you want to take the risk, you could try this with fun foam so you don't have to do all the layers together. But I did try that, and when it ran through the Cuttlebug, it kind of smushed it and it ended up sort of distorted and I didn't have the same shape. So I think the only reason it worked on the foam here for the front panel was because it was the sticky back and the backer kind of holds it into shape the way it's supposed to be. So now we've got 2 frames, 2 front covers, and those were all cut with our 2 dies together as one. So for our 1 die that cuts the large solid piece, we've got a glitter and then a heavy watercolor paper in each. And I also have an acetate for each in the solid piece as well. So I'm going to go ahead and layer my glitter paper onto here. Have our back pieces. I'm going to set my acetate aside and we're going to go ahead and glue our frames on top of that, and you see that depth it gives us to fill it with our shaker bits. We're going to leave that under those blocks to dry while we work on some of the rest of our tops. Oh, and I almost forgot, I cut out another in the sticky back foam in the solid just for the red one. I'm going to do it on the back of the red one. I think that's going to turn out real cute. I'm not going to do it on the silver one. I just thought I'd give it a try on there. So I decided for my silver one, I wanted to make it a little bit multicolored. So I'm going to bring in some alcohol markers. And these are my Studio 71. I have the Studio 71 as well as the Arteza alcohol markers. But I decided to go with the Studio 71 today because the colors were more the tones that I wanted. I couldn't find a really good green that was a Christmassy green in my Arteza set, but I do have the set of 60 of Arteza, which now has a 120 set. So I would really like to try those out and see all the newer colors that are included in that. But for today, I'm going to be using my Studio 71s. I chose BG8 green for my Christmas green. And then I have R12 ruby red for my Christmas red. And I'm going to make a gold with a combination of hazelnut and golden sun. So I'm just going to do a few little areas. I'm going to do my holly leaves with the green. And I just love alcohol markers on glitter paper because it looks like that is now green glitter. I just love it. And I thought the silver is so easy to put other colors on top of. It would be really fun, and you'll be able to tell now more easily that there's holly leaves on there and a snowflake, things like that. I'm going to move it off of there, away from that green ink, and do my little berries. There are just a few of the berries. I think I'm going to use my chisel end again. That works much better. I can just kind of pat the color on there with that chisel tip. So now I'm going to do the gold on my little berry stems. I'm going in first with the hazelnut to get that kind of brown color on there, and then I'm going to do my hanger in gold as well. And then everything I did with hazelnut, I'm just going to go back over top of with my golden sun. And it's just going to give it a little more of that yellowy gold kind of tone. I think that is so cute. If you wanted to take your time, you could actually maybe do the swirls in the gold. Might make the silver snowflake stand out a little more. But I'm going to leave mine right like that. I think it's very pretty. And I love how that makes the holly leaves and the berries stand out so much. Okay, so we are ready to start putting them together. And I've got a couple of little containers here that I filled with some shaker bits, and I tried to get about the same mix pretty evenly between the two. And I chose sequins and beads in all silver, clear, and white. And I have large and small. I just gave one of the very largest silver flowers for each ornament. And then I have a combination of silver, clear, and white. I've got some silver flowers in there and some white flowers. The silver and white is really going to give the look of snow. And now that I see all of that in there, I think it may be a little too much. Try to scoop some of those out. So we'll try that and see how it turns out. Get one of my acetate pieces. And for this, I'm going to use the adhesive runner because liquid glue would take way too long to set with acetate. So when you're adhering acetate, you kind of want to use a dry adhesive like tape runner or double-sided sticky tape maybe. But that might be difficult to get around those edges. So now I'm just going to lay on my acetate piece. I want to make sure to get it lined up from the start because this tape runner sticks fast. And I think it shakes pretty well also. Okay, so I'm going to press that down really firmly, and then I'm just going to come around and trim off anything of the acetate that's sticking out the edge if it wasn't lined up just perfectly. Okay, so for this I'm just going to bring in a piece of copy paper. I'm going to turn this over and put tape runner all over the back. And again, you can use liquid glue, but it'll take quite a while longer to dry. And there you have your shaker ornament. We're going to go ahead and do a red one. I think I'm going to use these other shaker bits that I took out of the other one. Maybe we won't put that large silver flower. Maybe a couple more of the smaller silver flowers. I think the flowers really end up looking like snowflake shapes when it's all said and done. It's just really perspective. And with all the white and silver, it just takes on more of a snowflake look than it does a flower look. And our tape runner. Now the acetate. And again, just trim up anything that was hanging off the edge unevenly. So cute. Now let's see how this adhesive back foam does. And you know, if you wanted to, you could just run your glitter cardstock like we had on the silver one. You could just put that on some Stick It double-sided adhesive sheet before you cut it out. And then you cut it out with the adhesive already on it, and it becomes a sticky back just like this. Okay. So we might have to do a little bit of finagling. Looks like with it being foam, it did still distort slightly. Okay, I broke off a piece of that little curl right there, but I think that one stretched around enough to complete it anyway. The foam was a little bit stretchy, so I'm not sure if that was the best idea. Maybe the double-sided adhesive on glitter cardstock would be better, but I think it turned out very cute. So I've got one more thing I was going to try. Remember, I had a solid backer for that. And I'm going to take my red alcohol marker that I had before, and I'm going to color all of my side edges, because we don't want, you know, a red front and back with that white side showing. That'll also help us cover some of our little boo-boo areas down here where it's a little bit distorted. And I'm going to get inside of my loop as well. Okay, and now we can put our backer on and see if it was worth all the extra trouble to have the glittery back as well. And again, the foam is slightly distorted, so I'm going to trim up the edges. And now we're just going to add some string. And I've just got some beading string here I'm going to use as ornament string. I'm going to put gold on my silver and gold one there, and silver on my red one. I'm just going to push the loop through from the back. And pull the ends through that. And tie them up at the top. About a triple knot there. And go ahead and cut that loose. Same thing for my gold one. Fold it in half. Put that middle loop through from behind. Then pull the ends through that. And knot it a few inches up, 2 or 3 maybe. And about a triple knot. And put that onto a little Christmas hook, and that's all there is to it. I think these are great little gifts. Now that I look at this one, I do think probably doing the swirls in gold and then leaving the silver snowflake and frame would have been really cute. But just do yours however you like it, whatever colors you choose. I think these are so much fun. I'll try to see if I can find the links to include for you guys for these ornament dies. I think they're a lot of fun. I really love them, but I have had them for a couple of years now, so I'm not so sure. With the unbranded dies, it seems like once they disappear, you never really see them come back, but I'll try my best. If I can't find these exact ones, I'll try to leave you guys a link for something similar, whatever I can find. I think they're a lot of fun. But really, when it comes down to it, you could just do this with circle dies if you really wanted to. And punch a hole in the top and just hang your string from there. So leave me a comment below and let me know if you guys liked them too. I had a lot of fun. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Give me a like over on my Facebook page. And be sure to join our Facebook group, Crafty Minds. Also follow me on Pinterest and Instagram. And don't forget to visit my blog. I'll have the links to everything in the description below, so be sure and check them out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.